another of Southampton's unique river crossings, has even been immortalised in song.
If you're ever up in Sholing and you want to go to town, but don't go by Bitton, that's a long way round. Take a trip across the ferry, take a trip across the sea, and if you're a pedestrian, well, you can travel for free on the Woolston Ferry. Doesn't travel very fast. It was never built for comfort, it was built to last. On the Woolston Ferry doesn't travel very fast. It was never built for comfort, it was built to last. On two steel hawsers across the river it will creep. The steel glints in the sunlight, flops back into the deep. And from the deck of the ferry, such a wonderful sight, all those shipwrights grafting, the thorny crofts on the right of the Woolston Ferry. Doesn't travel very fast. It was never built for comfort, it was built to last.
The floating bridge was a cable ferry that crossed the Itchen between Woolston and Southampton. The service began in 1836 in direct competition with Northam Bridge, which was then a toll bridge. In 1839, the canny ferry operators constructed St John's Road across Botley Common and Netley Common to link Hedge End with the Portsmouth Road at Sholing. Former passengers on the toll bridge now had easy access to the floating bridge, and its success was assured. The increase in traffic also saw the hamlet of Hedge End develop into a village in its own right. But, unlike Hythe Ferry, the floaties were eventually doomed. Ironically, it was the construction of another bridge over the River Itchen that finally consigned them to history. On the 11th of June 1977, the Echo reported their passing.
Hundreds took up every conceivable vantage spot. Every inch of the southern side of the £12 million bridge was occupied. They stood on the slipways, watched from the shore, and the agile and brave clambered onto bus shelters and refreshment kiosks to get a better view.
See the weather-beaten captain with his weather-beaten tan. He don't wear no gold braid, he's a corporation man. And the captains of the ferry, well, they're a dying race. There's no ex-tram drivers to come and take their place.
The last firework lit up the starless sky. The crowd applauded and then drifted away. The Itchen became quiet, and so a landmark passed into history. No more will the floating bridges link Southampton and Woolston.
Go and see Lowry's painting in the art gallery of this forgotten relic from a past century. And when I sing of its construction, you'll be amazed to learn that the bow going one way, coming back becomes the stern of the Woolston.
It seemed inconceivable that this was the last trip before a possible appointment at the Breakers' Yard. For the event had all the colour and noise of a maiden voyage. The bridges were decked out in bunting and coloured lights. Passengers sang and sipped wine. The Solent City Jazz Band played away. The floating bridges have hardly been the epitome of five-star travel. Drafty and uncomfortable are the least unkind words that have been applied to them. Yet in their final hours, it was hard to find anyone who didn't mourn their passing.
It was never built for comfort, it was built to last. It was never built for comfort, it was built to last.
Boats of various shapes and sizes had long been a preoccupation for Southampton. But the 19th of June 1928 saw attention turn to the air.
Those magnificent men in their flying machine, they go up to the up, they go down to the down. They enchant all the ladies and steal all the scene with their up to the up, and their down to the down.
Miss Amelia Earhart, the American, became the first woman to fly across the Atlantic when her seaplane, the Friendship, arrived in Southampton today. The arrival at Woolston of Miss Earhart and her 2 male companions received a tremendous welcome from ship sirens, hooters, and great crowds of people lining the riverbanks. Flying quite low so that the name Friendship was clearly visible, the plane flew up the river, then turned in the vicinity of the floating bridge. Slowly, the machine, having perfectly alighted on the water, was towed up the Itchen.
Those magnificent men in their flying machine, they go up to the up, they go down to the down. They enchant all the ladies and steal all the scene with their up to the up, and their down to the down. Up, down, flying around, looping the loop and defying the ground. They're all frightfully keen, those magnificent men.
If the crowds that greeted the Friendship had known that transatlantic flights would ultimately be the nemesis of the great passenger liners, they may not have been quite as enthusiastic.